Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian. And in today's video, I'm continuing my look at the Alfred Hitchcock masterpiece box set. And this is Psycho from 1960. Now, is this Hitchcock's greatest film? Because let's face it, it was so influential. I would say with Peeping Tom from the same year, this is like the film that influenced slasher films in horror. This film also became a cultural iconic film. The techniques in filming in this film, the music score, there's so much that when you look at the history of film, this is one of those films that is considered an important film. And quite rightly so. I mean, I would put it in my, so all-time top 20 greatest films that I personally like. This would definitely be included because you're watching something really amazing, an amazing piece of art in terms of film. This is it. Anyhow, me going on. Let's get into it. This is 109 minutes long. Rotten Tomatoes give it 97%, which actually looks more impressive than it should be because at the time of release, critics, some of them were very split. They didn't like this. They saw it as grubby, the source material. They didn't want this kind of film at all. They just didn't like it. In fact, it's interesting that Hitchcock deliberately filmed this in black and white for two reasons. One, because he wanted to save money, but two, he didn't think it would be as gory in black and white, and that is how they saw horror. Horror had to be very much in a certain way. The critics looked down on it in so many ways, but now, of course, everybody loves this film. The critics and the audience, and at the time, the audience absolutely loved this film. It was on a budget of $806,000. Well, nearly $807,000. So they brought it in under $1 million, and it made $50 million, which is excellent. Because let's face it, there was even a reluctance to get this made. And Hitchcock said he would even help him producing this, and he said it would be a low budget film, and that's what he did and delivered. But of course, I mean, imagine what. Well, now when we look back in history, why didn't they want to, release this? Why didn't they want to back it so much? But they did. At least it did get a release, and they flocked to it. It was a massive box office success, and it gained more and more recognition from that. He was just giving what the public wanted. And also, the film delivers. It really delivers. And of course, now in terms of film history, it delivered a lot more. It delivered a hell of a lot more, yes. Okay, so the screenplay is by Joseph Stefano, and it's based on novel Psycho by Robert Bloch, which was from 1959. Of course, some of his books then have been made into films and are well thought of and adapted. Um, yes, this is it. This was the one that really launched him and got him that publicity, even though the book is very different from this film, because it had to be. They couldn't have produced some of that book, and it didn't. Well, this worked better once they got the story together. It all sort of fell into place, and with Hitchcock's input as well. But he really trusted the screenplay writer, and they got this. Well, they just everything was spot on, really. Of course, so it's directed, of course, by Alfred Hitchcock, and the music is once again by Bernard Herrmann, who it's said, because of the budget, he didn't use he just used the strings, but then some say it was deliberate use of the strings, and wow, it is. This score now is an absolute classic score, which has been imitated, which is it's just so an important part of the film. This is where you can truly say, look, the score, without the score, the film would be a lot less. It would, because the score just adds so much. And it's a brilliant score. It really is. Wow, what can you say about the music? Oh, wow. So let me just say a few other things about it. Because he was also saving money, he used his Alfred Hitchcock Present television series crew, so they knew everything what would be going on. They constructed the Bates Motel and the house, of course, the iconic house, which is brilliant. That was all constructed. There was not much actual location filming. Again, cost saving to some extent. They did do some locations at Bakersfield and some areas just around the studios, which again, it just adds to it. But they did, like with the driving, on the screen, you could see this projecting onto the screen in the studios. That was all done. So I still think this is good. It was, the actual film was shot at Review Studios, which is part of say the Universal Studios, and that's just a little bit of background to it. As say, on a tight budget, and he came in, he delivered perfectly. So the cast is headed by Anthony Perkins, playing Norman Bates, and wow, what can you say? His performance, he just brings so much, and he contributed a lot to this character. Films that he'd been involved in and through his career, he was in On the Beach, 1959, which is a sci-fi post-apocalyptic film, which is very good. He was in The Trial, 1962, Catch-22, 1970, The Life and Times of Roy B, 1971, Murder on the Orient Express, 1974, that Agatha Christie one. He was in that. And of course, he was in the sequel, after all these years, Psycho 2, in 1983, which is an excellent film. And he's brilliant in that. He was in Crimes of Passion, 1984. Edge of Sanity, 1989. That is considered a really good film. Of course, I should mention he was in Psycho 3, 1986, which I think he directed. And he was in an appearance in Psycho 4, the television film. I think he does make an appearance in that, but it's another actor because he's looking back at his early years. That's 1990. But overall, this film really is wow. in performance from him. It's amazing. Then we've got Vera Miles, who plays Lila Crane. She was in The Searchers, 1956, classic Western. Another one, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962. It's got James Stewart in it. Yes, John Wayne and James Stewart. Brainwaves, 1982. I mean, that one, excellent. And, of course, Psycho 2. She reprises her role in 1983. It's excellent. A great performance. And it's interesting because she has to kind of take over the lead in terms of the actress, because Janet Leigh, she's also in this film. She plays Marion Crane, but of course, after about the first half of the film, not first half, first quarter, I would say, she's in it, and then of course. She's not in it. So I think that must be about after 20 minutes or more. Then the famous scene happens. Janet Leigh was a great actress. She went right back to 1947. She was in Houdini, 1953. Touch of Evil, 1958. Manchurian Candidate, 1962. The Fog, oh yes. The Fog, she was in that, 1980. And Halloween H2O, 1998. These are just some of her highlighted films. She had a tremendous career. Absolutely wonderful. Then we've got John Gavin playing Sam Loomis. Spartacus, 1960. Pussycat, I Love You, 1970. House of Shadows, 1976. These were just a few of his films. He's quite an important role in this film as well. Yep, another great performance. And then I should mention Martin Balsam, who plays the private investigator Arbogast. He was in Catch-22, 1970. Tora, 1970. Taking a Pelham 123, 1974. The Sentinel, 1977. Death Wish 3, 1985. And The Twilight Zone movie, 1986. He was in that. Fantastic. What a cast he had. I mean, I don't need to go into the story too much. I mean, basically, Marion, Janet Leigh's character, she disappears after she's stolen this money. $40,000 she's stolen. And that from her employer. And a lover, that's Sam Loomis. And a sister, that's Vera Miles. They, and also the private eye, Arbogast. They are led in many ways by their wanting to find out where she's disappeared to the Bates Motel. And of course, that leads them to Norman Bates. And the whole story just beautifully. Oh, it just weaves its way onto the screen beautifully. It's great, and the performances are great. And of course, the infamous shower scene is amazing. It's a highlight, iconic again, often used, techniques, the way it's filmed. Everything about this film is absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen it, why not? A lot of people will have seen this film. It stands up every time you watch it. You just can't help but love this film and see how good it is. It's still gripping, and you get all the psychological stuff at the end about the psychiatry, about all that is great. Very much of the period as well, and also it's taboos are broken in this film as well. I didn't realise it's the first time that a toilet has been shown flushed in any of the films. We actually get that in. it's quite sexy in the sense that it's showing like we see the white bras that Janet Leigh wears, and then we see the black bras. This is all done deliberately in many ways. That was pushing taboos, certainly in what you could see, the sexual side. Um, and censorship. Obviously, the shower scene. That was the beauty. They was aware of the censorship that would have come, and that's he was able to film it in such a brilliant way. And say mixed with the music, it's just so impressive. This film, absolutely, I absolutely love it, and I think everybody else does it. It's just a masterpiece. It really is a masterpiece, and so influential. Fantastic. Just before I go, here we are. Here's the box set that I've been getting through. Fantastic. And this is a bonus this week. Just a quickie. I've got a steel book of this. There is my steel book of Psycho. Look at that. I'll just show you inside. It's got the 4K and the Blu-ray. Then that's that blooming J card thing. But this is just, I love this. I've got it in for, it looks fantastic. And also, there's no censorship at all in this. It's the full version. There was a slight difference in this one to this. But there we are. That's it. So, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and I'll let you know when I produce these videos. And if you like this one, please give it a like, and it gets it out onto YouTube, all that kind of stuff. And if you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments. I really do. And that's it, really. Say, all cost notes. You can't say fairer than that, can they? By heck, you can't. Anyhow, all I gotta say is, I'll see thee again.